if you ever listen to me on the radio, rest assured, I am G-rated. You know, I try to have a little bit of fun once in a while, but I am G-rated. So, what do you favor? Let me ask you a question. Do you all favor medical malpractice reform?
Yes!
Yeah, we need to get these lawyers off these doctors' backs, don't we? And off our backs. Yeah. Do you know the number one source of campaign contributions to the Democratic Party? Their trial lawyers are number 2, they're huge, and the teachers union is number 1. Do you favor, I heard the press secretary for Barack Obama this morning saying, well, we need this government plan to have competition. It's the most insincere, lying thing I've ever heard. Because you know why? Because all these states have state insurance commissioners who want the power of controlling the competition in their own state. In this state, it's not like companies from outside the state can compete or are allowed to compete freely. No, the commissioner and the governor keeps a tight lid on the insurance market. So do you favor a national medical insurance market? Yes. Absolutely. There's 50 different states. One Blue Cross in Alabama, another one in Pennsylvania. It's insane. We have 1,300 different companies. If we want competition, just let there be good old-fashioned interstate American competition. We'll have competition. How about taxes? Right now under the current system, corporations can deduct the cost of the medical payments that they pay for people like me, anybody who's employed. But if I have, as an entrepreneur, if I want to start a business and want to just pay, or just want to be independent, want to pay a direct premium to an insurance company, I got to pay for it with after-tax dollars. Do you favor tax fairness, where there's everybody basically would pay with before tax dollars? Do you favor tax fairness for insurance? Yes. Absolutely. It's a little bit hard to spit out. You get into some complicated stuff here, but it's not that tough. How about medical cost transparency? Now, I had to go to the doctor actually before I came here today, and I had no idea what the cost was. I had no idea. I couldn't make a decision. The price wasn't published. Do you favor transparency with doctors and hospitals having to tell you the price of what you're paying for? Yes. Absolutely. 5, and for those people, basically at all stages, whether at Medicare, Medicaid, working, do you favor larger health savings accounts where we have transparencies? We know what the price is going to be, and then we can put instead of sending all the money to the insurance company, put it in a savings account, and then you make your own decisions. Do you favor that? Yes. When the Democrats say there is no conservative agenda for health care reform, they're lying. They are lying. It's called consumerism. Instead of taking all the power and putting it in the hands of the government, it's about taking the power and the money and putting it in our own hands so we can make our own decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big issue here. There's a big conflict in our society, and it comes down to this. Do you want a society of dependent... And have you noticed this? What the liberals... They don't call us men and women anymore. Have you noticed that? What do they call it? They call us males and females. Everybody's a male or a female, and everybody has a number. Have you noticed that? It's been a subtle change in our language over the last 20, 30 years. But do you favor a society of dependent males and females? Everyone a number, everyone a burden for the government to take care of and pay for life? Do you favor that society? Or do you favor a society of self-reliant men and women who build businesses, organizations, raise families, and keep unlimited government in its place? I choose, and I know you choose, self-reliant men and women and a limited government. Limited government. All right, well, as Dave said opening up, the only way to make this happen is we've got to make a big difference in the 2010 elections for Congress. We've got to change the balance in Congress. We have to have, and somebody said, George Bush did make a lot of economic mistakes. He made he messed, well, the surge worked in Iraq eventually, but I was really annoyed for 2 years that occupation in Iraq was so mismanaged. We conservatives, we don't have to We don't have to whitewash our problems. We don't have to be dishonest about the truth. We'll criticize our own. But we need real conservatives in Congress, and we need a real conservative like Ronald Reagan in the White House. That's what we have to work for. That's what we have to work for this next few years. And as Dave also said, we have to keep working. Because as Ronald Reagan said, liberty doesn't last forever. And our cause is liberty. Our liberty, our children's liberty, our grandchildren's liberty. America is the best, greatest hope on earth for all humanity. And it's our responsibility to keep it there. And one other final point, I was at a similar discussion. It was a much smaller group about 2 weeks ago. And someone asked, is it a problem that when you go to these rallies, there's so many older people? And I said, well, I don't see anybody here above about 55 years old. I don't see anybody. But if you're in your 50s or 60s, or maybe a little bit older, we need you. The problem, and this is just sincere. I mean, I'm sincere about anything I say, but honestly, as a person who's in his 40s, when you're in your 20s, let's face it, one thing we all have to do is we have to teach our kids. So when they get to be teenagers and 20-somethings, they understand how money's made. They understand how the system, how the world works, and they vote the right way, right? We have failed on that. We have failed since Ronald Reagan. We haven't had a good teacher who's a leader. We haven't been teaching. We have to teach our young people. But our folks in their 30s and 40s, it's just real busy, with a job, with family, with all the sports, with trying to raise the kids. It's real busy. So you know what? America needs a helping hand right now. And you're doing it. You're doing it. But don't feel bad about it. I'm encouraging you. We need our people in their 50s and 60s and even 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s. We need you to be out there leading us right now. We need you in these rallies. And thank you. Thank you for being here for us.